Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 6 of the PPSK Class A, who are assisted by Tiara Febrianti. Will explain through this video a tutorial on using ProTime Estimation Software. The purpose of this tutorial is to measure working time in a case study in which we conducted research on martabak traders in Solok area. Alright, before going into the discussion, it is good for me as a moderator to introduce the member of Group 6. The first is Aprilia Devira. And then there is Saskia Putri Damayanti. And then me as Nabila Indriani. There are 4 materials. The first one is the introduction to ProTime Estimation Software. And the second one is introduction to the software ProTime estimation feature, and the third one is simulation of the use of software ProTime estimation, and the last one is summary of measurement result from software ProTime estimation. Alright, for the explanation of the first material will be explained by my colleague Aprilia Devira. To April, time is yours.
Okay, I will explain about introduction of ProTime estimation. ProTime estimation is an application that allows the user to estimate the time it takes for a set of tasks to be performed by an operator. The ProTime estimation module supports the study of task time via stopwatch methods, predetermined time standard methods, or a unique integration of both methods. In addition, this application supports the integration of pre-recorded video from which stopwatch times can be derived, and from which predetermined time studies can be linked to the task. Okay, that's all. Back to moderator.
Thank you, April, for the explanation. So for the next material, I would like to explain our material that is introduction of the feature in software ProTime estimation. Okay, the first features in this software is study details. The study details tab is the first tab we will see when opening a new or existing study. In this tab, we can view information about the study, including ID, description, remarks, and when and by whom the study was created and last modified. We can also edit the description and remarks here. The second feature is Task tab. Task tab consists of 2 parts. The first one is task summary and the second one is task sequence. The purpose of task summary is the task summary table is to allow the user to add and edit tasks in the study. The task list in this tab as well as the 3 time study tabs are linked. Therefore, any task change made in any of the table will be reflected in other task tables. The task summary table also displays summary information about the studies performed for each task. The first one is task index, a non-editable field that displays the order in which the tasks were organized at the time of the last step. And then there's ID, the ID of the task as set by the user, and description, where we can add more detail about which element is being studied in this row. And then there's man, match, miss, where we can choose to define a type for each task, like manual, machine, or miscellaneous. And then there's a video. It is a default video that can be set for each task. Any video from which an observation has been recorded for a particular task and can be selected from the drop-down menu in this cell. And the last one is task image, that if an image has been captured for a task, it will be displayed in this cell. The image can be enlarged by double-clicking on the cell. And then there's following fields are non-editable from the task tab and are displayed for the observed time study performed. The first one is normal time. Display the normal time for a task within the study. Allowance is display the allowance assigned to a task. And then there's standard time, that displays the standard time of the task which account for the allowance sets. And there's VA, it is display the value edit time and defined for task. And VA display the non-value edit time defined for task. And SVA displays the semi-value edit time defined for task. Next there's clarification total. This signals how VA and VA SVA values have been edited by in the task. Under count, it is display the number of observation recorded for a task, and minimum, it is display the shortest observed time recorded for a task. Maximum, which display the longest observed time recorded for a task, and the last one is average. It is displays the average of all observed times recorded for a task. And then the second task tab is task sequence. The task sequence table can be used to define the process being studied exactly as it is performed. For example, if a task is performed multiple times in a row, you can set a frequency for that task within a process cycle. We can also define tasks that are predecessor to others. This control also allows us to reuse tasks if they are performed at various points in the cycle. The task sequence defined in the task sequence table is used for sorting and reporting purposes. Next, the third feature is observe time. The observe time tab contains two data tables, the task table and the observation tables. We will notice a feature of all table columns in the ability to sort and filter the raw data. We can filter raw data by clicking on the filter in any column header and selecting an entry to view all occurrence of that entry. Here we can also choose to sort and display rows in the table in ascending or descending order based on the column we are sorting. There are some details of menu in observe times. The first one is option. In the option section, we can define the operator performing each task, select the study type, video or stopwatch, and reset the study data. And second one is allowance. Here we can set a personal basic fatigue, variable fatigue, and or delay allowance for the study as a whole. So the meaning of personal is accounts for maintaining general well-being of the employee. Basic fatigue is accounts for monetary or energy expended while performing tasks, and variable fatigue is accounts for physical or mental strain or fatigue caused by environmental condition or nature of the work like temperature, posture, tediousness, etc. And delay is accounts for interruptions, material irregularities, machine interference, and etc. So in observe time feature, there is also task table, which consists task index, ID, description, VA, NVA, and SVA. So for the next feature is calculated time. The calculated time tab allows to perform a time study based on a predetermined time system. It is also calculated for VA, NVA, and SVA analysis. So after we have added a task to the observed time task table, we can define the breakdown of value added, non-value added, and semi-value added time for each task. And then for the last feature is estimated time tab. So the estimated time control allows the user to enter an estimated, like typically historical, time value for a given task. Alright, after we know the features of the feature content in the estimation software program, in the explanation, then we can enter the simulation material using the estimation software program. So the simulation material will be explained by my colleague Saskia. To Saskia, time is yours.
Okay, I will explain how to use ProTime estimation software. After the software is opened, the main display look like this. Then to start running the software, click on the new file tool on the left. Then enter the file name. In this section, the file name is tutorial PPSK. For time unit, we use second because the duration of the video that will be input is short. After that, we go to the task. In this section, we will describe the elements of the activities carried out by the operator in the video, which we will enter in the observer time section. First of all, we input the video that will be used. After the video is entered, we can see the elements of the activities carried out and write them down in the task section earlier. From the video, it is found that there are 5 elements of the activities carried out, namely baking martabak, preparing box, removing cooked martabak, preparing martabak to be packaged, and packaging martabak. Then we continue on the observer time. For the first one, we fill in the operator section. The operator here is the person who use the software. For example, in the operator is A. After that, in the allowance section, the allowance is divided into 4, that is personal allowance, basic wattage, variable wattage, and special allowance. The first is the personal allowance. For this video, the personal allowance is 2% because the operator is a male. The second is basic allowance. This value is obtained based on the profits of the allowance, namely the energy expended is very light with a value of 6%, working at the stand on the legs with a value of 1%, normal work movement get a value of 0%, and disjointed eyes with a value of 4%. So the allowance value for basic wattage is 5% and for variable wattage is 5%. Then the special allowance is an unexpected allowance. In this tutorial, the value of the special allowance is 5%. Okay, let's just start running the software. Before that, we slow down the video so it's easy to see the elements of the activity that is being carried out. Then the timer to record the time it took to complete each element. Okay, start the video. After the activity element ends, then press twice for the software to record the time it takes to complete the element. The second element is to prepare the box. The third element is removing the martabak, starting from reducing the height to moving the martabak to the cutting board. The software will record the start time of the implementation element activity until the end of the element activity. Then enter the fourth element, namely the preparation of martabak to be packaged, starting from greasing butter, then adding toppings, then give milk then give milk on the martabak, and then cutting the martabak. Then double press to prepare the martabak to pack as the activity element has been completed. The fifth element is packaging the martabak, starting from putting the martabak in a box, then give stapler and give and put in the plastic. Okay, we have start and end time for each activity element. First, we discuss the rating section. The rating in adjustment factor based on observation that have been made using the SCOMART method. It was found the first element with a good class has a value of 70. To find the rating, value divided by 60. So the rating is 116%. The second element with a very good class has a value of 80. To find the rating value divided by 60, so the rating is 133%. The third element with a fast plus class has a value of 95. To find the rating value is divided by 60, so the rating is 158%. The fourth element is with a fair class has a value of 55. To find the rating value divided by 60, so the rating is 91.6%. The fifth element with a fair class has a value of 55. So the rating is 108%. For this rating value, it can be changed according to the observation made. Okay, let's move on the observer time value. This value is obtained by subtracting the end time of working on the element by its start time. Observer time each element are 2.73, 7.31, 13.96, 65.96, 19.79. Next is normal time. The values obtained for each element are 3.16, 9.72, 22.06, 60.02, 21.37. Let's look at the bottom table for the normal time value. The calculation is the same as what we did before. Then the standard time value is also obtained. This value is influenced by the allowance that we have previously determined in the observed time. For normal time is affected by rating. Okay, next we will discuss the table VA and VA and SVA. The values in these three tables can be changed. Let's just go to the first element. First, lower the video speed to make it easier to see. Then we do record time, then play the video. And then see what category does. Get the hosting category with details gas with or to reach hoist. Then the others category with details rotating. Then the walking with details walking search material. Then press OK so that the NVA value is 2.33, followed by the second element, still in the same way, which is so to slow down the video, then record time and play the video. Get the picking or supply categories with details picking up. He took the packaging box and then get the walking categories with details walking search material. Okay, so that the NVA value is 3.98 and the SVA value is 2.52. Next is the third element. We slow down the video again, the same as we did before. The press record time and play video. Get the hosting category with details goes with the reach hoist, then others category with details rotating, and then hosting again. With details move the place with the hoist, then press OK so that the NVA value is 13.32. Okay, next the fourth element. We slow down the video again, the same we did before, and play video. The first category is picking or supply with details holding. He is holding a brush to apply butter on martabak. Then get the others category with details whipping or cleaning. He cleans his hands with a cloth. Then he picking up the topping. Then the category it's others with details adjusting. He adjusting topping. For and is carried out after the activity elements are completed. Then he does the cutting martabak. This is included in the transformation category with details cut the material. Then press OK. So that the VA value is 21.13 and VA value is 36.63 and the SVA value is 6.93. The last one is the fifth element, still in the same way, which to slow down the video, then record time. He did the hosting category. Category hosting with detail move the piece with the hoist, and then he did the finishing, which packaging or and packaging category with detail packaging for scissor plain or closing. Okay, so that the NVA value is 18.27. VA is an element of activity that generates added value, and VA is an element of activity that does not generate added values. SVA is an element of activity that does not generate added value but is necessary. So that's all things that I can explain. For the next section will be explained by April.
Okay, thanks to Kia. I will explain about calculated time section. In calculated time, we will start with the first task, which is baking dough. Previously, we set the standard on MTM1. Then we enter the allowance. Then we enter the allowance based on the observed time, which is the personal is 2, basic fatigue 5, variable fatigue 5, and special 5. If we calculate all the number, we can conclude the allowance is 17. And then we set the standard MTN1. In this first task, the operator uses his right hand and left hand. Left hand to lift the top lid and right hand to turn on the stuff. Maybe first we will start with his left hand, which is turning on the stuff. Here we use the code lookup MTM1 turn. We click MTM1 turn. From the video, we can see that the weight of the object is small. So we choose small 0 to 2 lbs with code T30S. We click on the code, it will appear in the table below. Then we will enter the code for the right hand. For his right hand, still using the standard MTM1, allowance 17 with the code lookup use is move. Here the class used is class B, which is the transfer of object to a target whose location is uncertain or close to distance of 2 inches, so the code we use is M2B. In addition to the above activity elements, the operator also work, so we enter MTM1 work. Here we use an unobstructed wall per foot with a distance of 5 inches, so that the code is W5FT. To move the data to left table or task table, we can save the data that we have filled in before. Be seen in the table of the left. The normal time we get is 1.12 with an allowance of 16.72. The standard time is 1.2. Then the next for the second task is to prepare the box. We using the standard MTM1, allowance is 7. Then for the code lookup we use reach, so we choose MTM1 reach. The class used is class A, which is the movement to reach in a defined direction with a distance of 3 inches, so that the code we use is R3A. After that, the operator performs the element of walking. Therefore, we use MTM1 walk. We choose and walk per foot unobstructed with a distance of 5 inches with the code W5FT. Then we save the data that we have entered. Here we can see that the normal time we get is 1.14. The allowance is 16.98. The start time is 1.34. Then next is the third task, removing martabak. The standard here use MTM1. With allowance of 17. In the first activity in task 3, the operator uses his right hand and left hands. The right hand is used to close the lid of the pot and the left hand is used to turn off the stove. First, we can enter the code for his left hand with his code lookup MTM1 turn. The weight is small, 0 to 2 lbs with the code we choose is T30S. For the right hand, we use the code lookup move MTM1 move. The class used is class B, which is the transfer of a certain target object with a distance of the distance is 2 inches, so the code entered is M2B. For the next word element, is still using the left hand by the operator. Here the left hand is used to hold the spatula and the right hand to lift the martabak. For his left hand, with code lookup MTM1 reach, here we use class A, which is the movement to reach a certain place with a distance of 3 inches, so that the code we choose is R3A. For his right hand, we choose a lookup code MTM1 to hold here we choose a G1A. For the next activity, element is moving the martabak to the cutting set, where we use the MTM1 move. The class used is class C, which is the transfer of object whose target already exists or remain. Here the distance of is 5 inches, so the code used is M5C. Then save the data that has been kept. After being saved, we can see that the normal time is 0.64, allowance is 16.20, standard time is 0.75. Next, for the fourth task, which is to prepare martabak for packaging, here we use the standard BMOST with allowance is 17. For the first movement element, for the code lookup, we choose BMOST basic element. Then we choose hold 725 because the operator hold like object with 1 or 2 hands. Here the MU is 20 because the number of index in A and G is 2. Then multiplied by 10 so that the TMU result is 20. Next movement element still using BMOST body motion. It can be seen from the video that the operator was standing up. So we choose code 711. We can see that the index at P is 10. So that when multiplied by 10, the TMU value is 100. Then we save the data. After we save it, we can see that the normal time value is 4.22, allowance 17, and standard time is 5.05. Next is the fifth task, which is breaking martabak using the standard BMOS, allowance 17. Then the lookup code used is BMOST basic MOST element. Here we choose put with code 726 because there are operator activities to pack martabak. In the index, the value is the value is 4 times 10, so that TMU is 40. The next move is still using the MOST control code lookup. Here we choose push and pull with ID 731. Then we can save the data. It can be seen in task 5. Normal time is 10.18, allowance 17, standard time is 2.11. That's all from me. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thanks to Saskia and Aprilia for the explanation. So the next material is about the summary of measurement results from ProTime Estimation Software, which will be explained by Saskia. To Saskia, time is yours.
I will explain about observer time report from the software that we have run earlier. The output of the software that has been run earlier is in the form of normal time. Normal time is obtained by multiplying the observer time by the rating value that we have been looking for previously, so that the normal time is 116.33 seconds. For the allowance as previously entered in the observer time part, value personal allowance 2%, value basic fatigue 5%, value variable fatigue 5%, and special allowance 5%, so that the standard time value is 136.10 seconds. How to calculate by multiplying its normal time by 1 plus allowance. Then obtained the value of NVA is 77.47%, SVA is 8.12%, VA is 18.17%. For the first activity element, the value of NVA is 2.33 and the normal time is 3.16, can be calculated by multiplying the value of the observer time with the rating. Then the standard time value is 3.7, is calculated by multiplying the normal time by 1 plus the allowance. and so on until the fifth element. Then a detailed description of the element of the activity. For the first element, rating is then a detailed description of the elements of the activity. For the first element, the rating is 116, which we have calculated on the observer time using the Schumer method. The class is good with a value of 70, which will later be divided by 60, so that a rating value is 116%. Element start time is 0.02 and end time is 2.75. Observer time is 2.73. Normal time is 3.16. So that's all for me, returned by moderator.
Thank you, Kia, for the explanation. Alright, with the end of the last material, this is the end of this tutorial video. Maybe that's the explanation we can give in this tutorial on using ProTime Estimation Software. More and back forgiveness. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.